Hi there, I care and you matter. I'm Shannon and welcome to my channel and welcome to another Writer Wednesday video. Today is not going to be a huge surprise in terms of authors that I mention and books, but I'm going to get to, I don't want to say a moral to this video, but there is a takeaway. So stick with me. I'm going to give you a little backstory before we get to that. So first of all, a couple years ago, I was reading a book by Haig called The Comfort Book. And I'll leave links to all these books down below in case you want to check out some of the reviews on Amazon. But I really enjoyed this book. It wasn't exactly inspirational at all or even aspirational, but it really was a comfort. Every time I read this book, I took something away from it. And the other thing I really enjoyed about it was I could read it for like 5 minutes and get something out of it. Some pages are longer than others, but some pages only have lists. It's crazy, or a couple sentences. So that was kind of a nice breather, right? A nice way to have a book that didn't feel like a chore. So I thought, you know what? At that point, I was considering getting into writing adult fiction. So I thought, you know what? I liked this book. I'm going to try one of his fiction books. So I went out and got a copy of The Midnight Library. Now, let me just read to you some of the accolades on the back. Whimsical, a feel-good book guaranteed to lift your spirits, The Washington Post. A beautiful fable, and It's a Wonderful Life for the modern age, impossibly timely when we are all stuck in a world we wish could be different, by Judy Picoult. I think I'm saying her name correctly. It's also a New York Times bestseller. It was also a Good Morning America book club book choice. So I'm thinking, how can that many people be wrong? It's got to be a good read, right? It's got to be a good book. And maybe it was for those people. I hated it. I loathed it. The main character, I kept reading thinking, what an idiot. What a fool. I thought all of her decisions were stupid. I thought all the reasons for her decisions were stupid. I consistently, every time, my husband and I read every night for 20 minutes. We can read longer than that, but that's the commitment we've made to each other and to ourselves. So every night I'd sit down and I'd read it, and I'd dread the next time I opened this book. Every time I sat down to read, I would dread opening this book. I eventually got to the point where I thought, I would never choose to hang out with this person in real life. Why am I forcing myself to read this book? I set it aside for a week or two, read another book in the meantime, and then thought, no, I don't want to be a quitter. I'm going to finish this. What a colossal waste of time. What a colossal waste of time. I hated it. I finished it, but it says Good Morning America Book Club right there on the cover there. Yeah, I hated it. Am I glad I finished it? No. What a waste of my time. But I did try to get some takeaways from it. I tried to dissect why in the world did I hate this character so much, and why would I not associate with this person? Why did I think this was such a colossal waste of time? Ultimately, it led me to think, no, if I feel this strongly, I don't know if I can write fiction. I wrote a middle grade fiction book, link down below. It's still available on Amazon. Shameless plug. It's called Tether and Token, Meg and the Tiny Token. In fact, it was going to be a series, and I have the second book in the series 3/4 of the way done. But for my sanity, I'm going back to nonfiction for adults. But anyway, I digress. I hated this book. Still tried to get something worthwhile out of it. If nothing else, better direction for me on what not to do. So I thought, you know what? I loved The Comfort Book. That was good. So maybe I just prefer his nonfiction over fiction. So I went and got another book. I'm not a quitter. I went out and got a copy of Notes on a Nervous Planet. Let's read a couple of these. What if the way we live was engineered to make us unhappy? And what if there was something we could do about it? Now that's the blurb, okay, the description. Here are some of the accolades. Take notes on a nervous planet twice daily, with or without food, crammed with wisdom, insight, love, and wit. Excuse me, Stephen Fry. Let's see, let's pick another one. Haig writes books that feel like friendships you want to keep. Jordan Stevens. Excuse me. So yeah, I didn't finish this book. So maybe it would have gotten inspirational, but I didn't finish it. Why? Because it got me depressed. I can't do it. You guys, I can't do it. with the way the state of the world is, forget social media. It's just the news. I just, no. So I stopped it. Haven't finished it. Still have the book. Did not get rid of the book. I might finish this in the future, but right now where I'm at, no, can't do it. So what did I do? I went back to a book, an author I do like. Oh, excuse me, frog in my throat. John Acuff. I've read all of his books so far and love them. Now, here's the thing. I might disagree with what he says. He says, how did he put it in one of his books? I can't remember which one it was. He essentially belittled people who preferred wide ruled over college ruled. Now, if you watch any of my Stationery Sunday, or many of my Stationery Sunday videos, you're going to know I like 3 things. Index cards, composition notebooks, wide ruled paper. Okay, in blue ink. A couple more than 3 things. But I prefer wide ruled paper. So that turned me off. But you know what? Now that I've read books by people I really don't like, oh my gosh, I love this man. Okay, and this is the nugget, the takeaway I'm getting to in this video. They say write what you know, right? And you can't really, it's hard to know what you like, what you think works, what you find easy to read, until you read a bunch of it. So that you have a backlog to digest and dissect, to figure out exactly what are they doing that works, that you like. Write what you know, I think, doesn't necessarily only have to apply to knowledge. Write what you know can apply to what you know works, what you know you enjoy, what makes the process of reading good or pleasurable or fun for you. And that instructs us as to what we should be doing in our writing. And so I'm revisiting just to make myself feel better, because I've spent enough time being miserable. I'm going to revisit what I know and revisit what I like, because like I said, times are tough right now in the United States and I need me some feel-good stuff. And what I like about John Acuff is his conversational tone. He's willing to poke fun at himself. He's willing to be transparent and honest and even at times self-deprecating. And while his pages are not short and sweet, and his books aren't exceptionally short either, they are an easy read. He writes plainly. He writes using, and I'm not saying I'm stupid, and I'm not saying that that I don't want to read, high literary, I don't know, what masterpieces or whatever you want to call it. But what I am saying is I like to read for fun. And oftentimes at the end of the day, my brain is already stretched so thin that there's not a lot of energy there to, go through the weeds of a lot of fluffy words. No, talk straight with me. Value my time. Be a place where I can come to for comfort and joy and humor and entertainment that isn't going to require a lot of energy from me, right? And so, yeah, I am starting this book again. It's called Start. Punch fear in the face, escape average, do work that matters. And I'm not just reading this book. Got me my composition notebook, and I'm taking notes on this book, where I took notes on the Midnight Library to try and find things that I did like. I did like his varied sentence structure. I did like that. So I took notes on what I didn't like about this book. Now I'm reading a book I know I do like, but I'm going to be reading it to figure out why do I like it. So every time, like last night I was reading it and I caught myself laughing out loud. Jason stopped his book, turned to look at me. And I thought, okay, I got to remember, I'm going to go back to that page today. I'm going to take notes. So while I'm actually reading, I stick sticky notes, and then I go write the note or the comment on what I thought was done well, what stuck with me, what really resonated, what made me laugh. I write it in my composition notebook, put the page number, and then I take the sticky note out. And so that way, when I sit down to continue writing my own manuscript or even editing it, I wouldn't necessarily take those notes to begin with. I'm going to have another video about this next week. But I will use those notes on what I think John Acuff did well in order to edit my my own manuscript. So yeah, you can go get it. You can pay thousands of dollars and spend hours of time to get an MFA, or you can expose yourself to things that you know work, to things that you enjoy, to things that you personally would like to read, so that others would potentially like to read and enjoy as well. We're not going to reach everybody. Everybody hits differently. And so I think the beauty is writing for your unique set of intended audience. Get to know those people. And I think one of the best ways we can do that is by finding books and authors that we really, really enjoy ourselves. So yeah, I'm going to leave this video here. But I hope that this gives you some takeaway as a writer or an aspiring author, as a way to help yourself. You don't have to go get some huge, expensive, massive education in order to be educating yourself on craft and learning what works. It's about exposure, and it's about being careful and intentional about identifying what works, what doesn't work, and then implementing that into your own writing. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will catch you next time. Until then, have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.